Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's regular council meeting, Tuesday, March 24th. It's to be held and transmitted electronically via the council chambers, which are located here at 39 South Shore Road. Welcome, staff, fellow councilors. I'd like to acknowledge with gratitude our gathering this evening on the traditional lands of the Subasset people, and we thank them for the shared opportunities for both communities. And prior to continuing, I just want to thank my fellow councilors who stepped up and filled in while I was off on my leave of absence. I appreciate you all coming together and supporting me in my time away. Councillor Vomaka stepped in as deputy mayor and did an amicable job. I appreciate it. Councillor Sandhu filled in for me in the role of the CBRD. I threw her into budget discussions, which she enjoyed immensely. Also, my other councillors who took forward the budget process and did that in my absence, I really appreciate your contributions. And staff, I appreciate how far we have come in the short time that we've all been together. I recognize the contributions that are being made, not only by staff, but all employees, to get us to a place where we need to be. So appreciation to everybody. I wanted to do that publicly, and I raise my hands and thank you. So I'm looking for introduction of late items. If there are any, I'll turn to staff first. I know there is one delegation who is not here today. That's the Mosaic one, if you can scrap that. Councillors don't have any additions. We can utilize the notice of motion later if you wish. So before the approval of the agenda, I'm going to ask if there is any topics that people would like to declare a conflict of interest at this time. Councillor Frisbee.
Yeah, just on the parking program assumptions, I have a conflict of interest. So my business has an agreement to lease the parking lot at Centennial Fields. Okay. So if the parking plan was to be implemented, that lease would cease. So then I would financially benefit from that. So I will not be involved in that discussion.
Okay, when the time comes, I will turn to you to declare that again, if you don't mind. Anyone else on any topics? So with that, approval of the agenda, please, as amended. Councillor Frisbee, seconded by Councillor Austin. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Now it's time for public input. This is your opportunity if you wish to contribute to tonight's meeting on any item on the agenda. If so, if you could step to the podium, state your name, and then the topic you wish to speak on. It's not a time for questions, just so we're aware. That'll be at the end. Yes, please. Push the button. There's a button on the microphone at the bottom. Thank you.
Good now? Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Council, community members. My name is Stacy Blanchette. I am the owner of 88 Cowichan Lake Road, and I'm here in support of One Plant's proposal to occupy the current vacant commercial space at that location. This proposal aligns with the principles that Council has consistently supported, creating meaningful, stable jobs in the community, promoting business growth through occupying vacant spaces, and I really think it's worth noting that, you know, as an industry, cannabis retail is very highly regulated. They have very clear standards when it comes to safety, compliance, operational procedures, and if we look at One Plant as a business, you know, very professional, very clean branding, and you know, their pharmacy boutique aesthetic is something that would really be an asset to the main street of Lake Cowichan. I think it's important to note the local jobs that this business would create, meaningful, stable jobs. This is not a this is not a speculative startup. This is an established business that has a proven track record, and that's important. It's important to the property owner, myself. We have contributed financially significantly to this community, and having a long vacant space makes it, really not in a long-term way feasible. One tenant does not allow us to meet the recovery needs of having a location like this. It's also important to the community in that they are going to be providing consistent contribution to the local economy. And I think at the end of the day, it's a practical decision. It's about providing jobs to the community. It's about promoting growth through local business. And yeah, I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for your input. Anyone else at this time before we move on? Seeing none, I will turn to adoption of the minutes. February 24th regular council meeting minutes. Councillor Womaka, I believe you were in the chair for that. No attachment on those, unfortunately, within our electronic one. We can bring that forward to the next council meeting, and we'll do both sets of minutes. Business arising and unfinished business. 2026 to 2030 financial plan, operating and capital budget. These are the results of the public engagement that we had. Will I turn to you, Mr. Thomas, for those public engagement results?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is being brought back as unfinished business. We've had public engagement earlier this month. We had about 6 parties, members of the public who participated in that session. We received 2 written feedback, none of which are recommending substantial or any changes to the budget from council. It was more feedback about how they felt the process was and being able to engage with the town and provide insights or learn some insights about what the proposed budget is aimed at doing. And so this is just the staff report back to council about the outcome of that process and seeking direction from council whether we are now ready to move to the next step of the process, and that is to bring forward a draft bylaw for council consideration for second and third reading. So we're just seeking direction from council at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I did attend along with a couple other councillors. It was a great process that I thought was not as well attended as I hoped. But having done that, and with the people who are commenting on social media, I think we may have a bigger uptick next year. So I'll turn to my fellow councillors and your pleasure on this, ladies and gentlemen. Councillor Frisbee.
Just a question on it. So we've got the line item here of results, public engagement. Is there a document with those results?
It's literally 2 pieces of paper. The one page is feedback, and we didn't attach it there because it had some identifiable information, but we could certainly bring that forward if council wish.
So you're looking for direction to bring forward a bylaw to finalize or start the readings of the financial plan?
That's correct.
Is anyone comfortable doing that? Councillor Frisbee, seconded by Councillor Sandu. Any further discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you. I'll turn to delegations. We have 3 delegations this evening. The first one is Tourism Cowichan. That's the MRDT presentation. Is that virtual? So I will turn to Kenzie Knight, I believe. And I'll let you introduce yourself and your team, and we can go from there.
Hi, Mayor and Council. Thank you very much for having us here tonight. I think we're just moving Helen, who's in the meeting room. So if someone's able to get them in, that would be great. In the meantime, I'll provide an introduction. My name is Kenzie. I'm the Tourism Development Specialist with Cowichan. I'd also like to introduce Whitney Taylor, who's joining virtually as well, and will be sent to the role of Tourism Development Specialist to cover my maternity. Sorry, there's just a on my end. I'm stumbling a little bit. Excuse me. Today we're to provide an overview of the new process to renew the municipal regional district tax for the next 5-year period from 27 to 32. The Cowichan Valley District is the designated recipient of the emergency funds, and Tourism Cowichan as a contractor regional district manage the delivery of funds for tourism marketing and development. So Tourism Cowichan is an industry-led nonprofit organization essentially sustainable tourism development in the region. We are governed by local partners, and Forever Strategies is contracted to manage the delivery of this. So with that, I'd like to introduce colleague Matthews, who is the president of we provide a review of the MSP renewal process today.
Kenzie, can you adjust your microphone by chance? You're cutting in and out. Or if you have a Bluetooth headphone or something, maybe.
Apologies, cutting in and out.
That was a little clearer. We're just losing you. I'm not sure if it's the internet connection or if there is a pause in that delay.
Would you like me to repeat? See if that's better?
You're still cutting in and out, so if you have headphones, similar to Mr. Matthews, that may work, or we can go to Mr. Matthews for the presentation, and we'll
that'd be great. We can go to Callum.
Let's carry on.
All right. Oh, I've got a weird echo on my end too.
We're hearing you.
I wonder
though.
if okay.
If I may, whoever's not speaking, just mute your microphone. That might work.
Yeah, because it's really hard to talk.
There's nothing on our end, so I'm not sure what the problem is. Could be the windstorm. Let's blame it on that.
Okay, well, I think what I might do then is just take my headphones off when I'm presenting, because I'm hearing myself speak like a millisecond after I'm speaking, so I can't really even process what to say next. But I will do my best, and then at the end, take questions if that works for everyone. So, Kenzie, maybe give me a wave or something if I need to stop. I've muted the sound on my end. So, thanks for the opportunity to this evening. Just heads power and what I need. So I'm in my dark basement. I've got the generator running and my iPhone flashlight, so you can see me. But really happy to share a bit of an update on the municipal and regional district tax process that is taking place right now in the Cowichan Valley Regional District. I have a little bit of a presentation to share. I'm just hoping that that's working on your end.
It is, yes.
It's like it is. So jumping into it, the municipal and regional district tax program ended by the government in 1987 with the goal of helping improve the overall competitiveness of the BC tourism industry. The tax has been in place for a really long time, and it's an opt-in model. And today we see just about every community in Columbia and on Vancouver Island choosing to have the MRD tax in place. The tax rate can be either 2 or 3%. Currently, it's at the tax rate, but we are working for this initiative to increase it to 3%. 3% makes sense because it does not impact visitor decision making. You know, that extra cent added to their bill does not make a difference. And most communities in the province on Vancouver Island are already collecting at 3% or in the process of moving to 3%. The MRDT renewal has to be completed every 5 years, which is why we're undertaking this process right now. And most importantly, the MRDT is a tax collected at fixed roof accommodation properties within an established boundary area. And it applies to hotels, motels, etc., as well as short-term rentals since about 2019. So the renewal of the MRDT for us is focused on the entirety of the Cowichan Valley District. These are the existing boundary areas, so we're looking to continue with it as it currently is established. So as I mentioned, MRDT is collected from fixed properties, including those short-term rentals. It has to be within a designated and approved boundary area, which in our case is the entire regional district. The tax is collected by accommodation properties from visitors. It's then remitted to the Ministry of Finance, and in our case, those funds are then provided back to the Cowichan Valley District, who eventually move to Tourism Cowichan Society, who spend them in alignment with 5-year plan and the 1-year tax fund. There's a variety of offenses that are permitted and not permitted when it comes to MRDT. Generally speaking, these are the things that it funds and is currently funding. Whereas putting promotion, destination development activities, wayfinding, and other tourist-focused projects, destination management, include research, fast programs, tourism operators. It can cover staffing and overhead expenses relating to office and administration. It can fund affordable housing initiatives, including planning, research, construction, and management. Currently, the online accommodation platform revenue is going to Cowichan Housing. So all the funds collected from short-term rental properties. And then visitor services are another eligible expense. Currently, tourism funds $50,000 per year towards their centers. By and large, the ineligible project activities or anything related to capital and infrastructure projects, excluding housing. It's a little bit of a complicated process for getting MRDT done. But this is a high level of it. We're fortunate we have a government model in place through the collaboration with the Tourism Cowichan Society. We have partner industry engagement as a part of the renewal process. We've done a lot of that already. We then develop a 5-year business plan, 1-year tax plan, and seek support from industry around that end. And we also need to have a majority of spruce properties or rooms or more vote in favor of tax. The next step is getting support from local governments. So I think as much as anything, they want to do all the process and why we're running this process. Also let you know that we will be coming back to seek a resolution in support of the MRD application at a later date. Once the application is submitted, it's about 3 to 6 months to get final approval. So that's the work back schedule that we're undertaking now. Is focused on ensuring there's no gap in the collection of MRD dollars. We've done MRD projects now. We've probably done 16 different application renewals. What we find that there's several success factors that we are in place here. A clearly defined boundary area, a well-resourced organization, manage MRD locally, strong local and transparency, and local oversight of MRD and strategy, diversity of stakeholders across the sector. The MRD program is not perfect. I often get questions about why can't Sergeant did and why we can't build infrastructure and other things the MRD funding. But the reality is the best program that we have. It provides reliable, performance-based funding activities, support tourism development and marketing. Funds can be used within a community, focus on maximizing benefits and trying to mitigate some of the challenges that the industry felt in. It also requires demonstrated support from the industry. We know that communities that are funding MRDT are outperforming their counterparts when we look at the number of businesses, jobs created, visitors, accommodation revenue. So if you've got MRDT, by and large, the community is going to benefit more so than if you didn't have it in the first place. And the 2018 budget allowing affordable housing uses has also enabled housing authorities to find alternative sources of revenue to support their good work. Working regionally is something we're really passionate about. I'm really grateful that in Cowichan we're working a regional model. We know that we have stronger marketing impact, better budget use, more resources, and work together as a collection of community. We can create a unified plan to increase awareness. We have an opportunity to leverage destination British Columbia funding resources, require three or more communities partnered, and that gives us 50% dollars work. It allows for more cooperation and coordination in huge amount of costs. And I think what I would ask all of you to do is vision a different situation where every community had their own MRDT. We would be in the process right now of doing 5 or 6 MRDT renewals simultaneously. We would have 5 or 6 different tourism websites locally, all competing the same visitors bidding up for bridges. It's really not an efficient model. That's why working regionally really makes a huge amount of sense. And then kind of winding down the presentation here, give you a little bit of a sense of timelines. We're a little bit late in our work plan in presenting to all of you, following scheduling mix-ups, but happy to be sharing this date now. We've completed all of our presentations to the regional district and other municipalities already. We've held a virtual information session with stakeholders in February. We've completed many one-on-ones and multiple interviews. We hosted a first workshop focused on develop 5 years business plan. We've hosted a second 2 workshops focused on the development of a TAT plan. And right now we are just those strategies, and we'll be seeking back industry shortly. In May, we will start our signature collection process, which requires us to get majority accommodation properties for rooms or more in favor of tax. We'll then be presented back to the regional district and corporate communities seeking resolution in support of the MRDT. And we're looking to submit in July of 26 to ensure that there's no gap in contention. This is a quick snapshot of revenues. So you can see the revenue growth year over year. I think the main thing to pay attention to in our case is the impact of increasing from 2 to 3%. Increasing from 2 to 3% will generate an additional 420,000 revenue based on conservative estimates. That's about 200,000 additional revenue for tourism Cowichan do. It's tourism-related programming and implementing the 5-year strategic plan, your tactical plan, and it's another $160,000 revenue to support Cowichan. The next step, as I mentioned, we're really focused on trying the 5-year strategic plan and tactical plan, as well as sourcing budgets. We'll be hosting a virtual session where we present the 5-year plan and TAT plan to stakeholders, and we're going to be recording that and sharing it out. We're then going to be continuing with a lot of engagement, feedback on our plans. We'll be through that information, but also through a series of all group one-on-one interviews, telecalls, really looking to refine it. And based on our discussions with the industry, this is the most effective way. There's a little bit of burnout comes more in-person engagement sessions. We're looking to go virtual complement round customer success. So that's all I've got in the presentation. You this evening, but hopefully that provides a little bit of background about the process that we're undertaking right now, as well as what we're asking for from all of the municipalities and yourselves participating in the process. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have any.
Thank you very much for that. I believe this is the second time I've seen this. I saw it at the regional district presentation, and just through to you, that is where the resolution will come back, is to the regional district board for discussion and consideration. Oh,
yes, that's correct. So there would be a resolution that we would for from like Cowichan, well, the other incorporated communities. That's essentially a letter of support for the application. And then all of those will get rounded up, go to the regional district, and the regional district will submit a final resolution as part of the complete application.
Thanks for that clarification. I'll turn to my fellow councilors. Anything from my fellow councilors? I believe it was clear. I don't see any further questions, so if that concludes, I thank you for your presentation and your contribution to tonight's meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. And we'll be back in a couple of months to take that resolution and share some highlights of your plan. And if there's any questions from staff along the way, very keen to engage with any media staff. So thanks in advance if there are any connections worth making here. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much. So just turning to staff, if we can put this forward to a future council meeting for the consideration of the resolution from the town of Lake Cowichan on the MRDT renewal. And with that, we will move on to our second delegation. I will let you come to the podium and introduce yourself. So I don't mispronounce your name. If you could just push the button, sir.
Hi, I'm Ivers Leopa-Spence. I'm going to be reading from a script, so I apologize if I'm looking down at my phone a lot. It's a lot to talk about. Should be good for like less than 10 minutes though. I'm a grade 11 student at Lake Cowichan Secondary, and today I'm presenting on the results of a survey that I ran for my Social Justice 12 class as a part of its final project, the Action Plan. The Action Plan entailed students creating a plan to help and/or benefit the community in some way. The plan I came up with was to make people who are more aware of issues that we are currently facing in this community, primarily focused through the eyes of students. Most of the respondents were students, but there were teachers and community members that also took part in this survey. Thank you. I've summarized the data into a few key points. Previous one. Those being the 5 main points, so opinions on school, educational inequality, community collaboration, and substances, and finally mental health. The opinions on school. Students often feel unprepared for life after graduation, and many community members believe that education isn't evolving fast enough to meet the modern needs. School sometimes feels very disconnected from the realities students are facing on a day-to-day basis. Students also felt that they are expected to meet standards that don't reflect their actual needs or development, while at the same time not being treated with the independence or appropriate respect and independence for their age. Another theme that came up frequently was a disconnection between generations. Many people felt that the individuals who design and/or manage the education system may not fully understand what modern students are experiencing. As a result, schools rely too heavily on data and performance metrics instead of building meaningful relationships with students. And because of all the things listed above, a majority of students said that they are not planning in staying in the community after graduation. What would make students more interested in attending school? People consistently talked about the importance of stronger relationships, connections with teachers, friendships with peers, and feeling like they actually belong in the school environment. Educational inequality. An issue that appeared repeatedly in the responses was inequality within the education system. Only a small percentage of people felt that schools effectively supported students who need additional help. Only one person in the entire data set believed that struggling students received adequate support. Most respondents also felt that students who are more fortunate in life, whether through family resources, connections, or opportunities, often receive greater advantages within the education system. Because of this, a large majority of participants said that additional support systems for struggling students are needed. However, one of the strongest agreements appeared when we asked about individualized learning. Nearly 95% of respondents supported the idea of personalized learning plans where students who excel in certain areas could receive additional resources and opportunity to develop their skills. This reflects a broader desire for an education system that recognizes that students learn differently and have different strengths. And I'm just clarifying this now. I'm brought up to education system points, and I do plan on speaking with the education board about this, if I can. Yeah. But now I'm going towards more community-focused ones. Community collaboration. One of the strongest themes that appeared in the survey was the idea of community collaboration. The community expressed a strong desire to be more involved in education. Many people felt that if community members worked together, they could have more influence and help improve the system. About 80% of respondents supported expanding post-secondary opportunities, and many suggested that learning should be more meaningful, hands-on, and more personalized. More than half of the respondents said that they would like to see more places where students and community members could work together to develop skills, discover talents, and explore interests. Many people also expressed the interest in creating more third spaces outside of home and school where people can gather, learn, share hobbies, and interests and collaborate. Can I have a show of hands of who knows what a third space is? Okay, that's what my mom said too. A third place is a social environment distinct from home, a first place, and a workplace, a second place, offering crucial accessibility for information and spaces to relax and gather and connect with people. Every single respondent agreed that businesses should work closely with students. Yes, 100%, as shown there. Said this could include job shadowing, apprenticeships, mentorships, opportunities, and opportunities that would allow students to learn directly from people in their community while developing real-world skills. This idea reflects a desire for students to bridge the gap between schools and the outside world. Substances. We also had a large report of substance abuse, some of which identified a range of substances present in the community, including alcohol, weed, vaping products, cigarettes, and harder drugs like cocaine and meth. But of these challenges, about 61.5% of respondents said that they would like to see more support for substance abuse. Mental health. This, to me, is one of the most striking statistics and saddest, but only around 40.7% of people felt confident that they could find mental health support if they needed it. And even fewer, just 22.2% of them said they felt safe asking for mental health. So that means of the 40%, half of those people, so let's say 10, right? 4 people know where to, and then even fewer, just half, feel safe asking for it. And that doesn't even mean that that's the people who need it, right? When asked whether more mental health support was needed for the students and community members, people were unanimous in agreement, having every person in the survey agree that it was necessary. And thank you. Thank you for your time. I do have run requests, and I would really appreciate if, just to get something out of this, I'm here to present information to people and make them more aware. I would love if you, just to help it stick a little bit, some of the topics, if you could talk to your neighbor or in a little group, if you could discuss something that you found interesting or you didn't know before for like, I don't know, 20 seconds, just to get it there.
Okay, will you stay there and take questions if we have any?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
I have statistics too, if you would like them.
I will turn to my fellow councilors first. Anyone? Councilor Sandhu.
I just want to say thank you for doing this survey on behalf of the fellow students of LCSS and coming here tonight and presenting this to us. And I do believe the school district board would absolutely welcome you to the table for this presentation because it is a key. You've got facts from fellow students, and I think that is key to them making decisions.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Austin, anything from you?
Just thank you for coming. Very interesting. I didn't know what third space was, but that's important.
So
Thank
let's
you.
talk about that for 20 seconds so it sinks in. What is it again, sir?
A third space, or generally anything that I talked about that was striking to you or that you think could be interesting.
Great. I do have a question. Number of responses that you got on the survey?
Unfortunately, so I ran the survey before the semester switch, was like 4 or 5 months ago, and then I scheduled for the meeting like 2 months, and then it got delayed, you know. So I only had around 30 responses, and I stopped doing it after 2 weeks of getting it because the school switched, and I plan on going into medical school, so I really have to get my stuff together if I want to continue going that way. So I couldn't dedicate all my free time into continuing to get people. I did talk with a couple of the local businesses though, and they had, for example, actually no, I shouldn't name.
No, we won't do that. There's no advertising here. But
No advertising.
no, that's okay. I did do the survey, just so you know. I think I left it anonymous, I hope. But I found it very interesting on some of the questions. And I hope I don't have to mark you. But kudos to you for presenting tonight. And thank you for all your work on this. We appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you when you do present to the school district and see how that was accepted. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We have one more delegation, and the reason we have so many is we canceled the committee of the whole meeting.
Excuse me,
One
can
more?
we have the discussion?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know, like 15 seconds.
Yep.
Just, yeah. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. You want us to speak amongst ourselves? Perfect.
The same problems we all grew up with in school. It hasn't changed at all.
Well, it has a bit. They're saying school hasn't changed much since we went, but I had to walk uphill both ways in snow, right? Yeah. Now, with that, we will move on to, again, thank you. Appreciate that. Cindy Lise, our Cowichan Communities Health Network. I'll let you do the introduction up there, ma'am.
Thank you. I would like to actually start. I'm Cindy Lise, but I'm going to hand it over to Denise Williams to do the first part of the introduction, and then we have Kara online who's going to walk you through our new resource. So over to you, Denise.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Denise Williams. I'm here on behalf of our Cowichan. I have been co-chair of the network for many, many years and stepped down from doing that, but somehow I'm still involved quite a bit. And so we wanted to come and talk about our Communities Health and Wellness Survey. This was a pilot project with Island Health, and it was chosen to be a pilot project with our Cowichan Community Health Network because of the connections that the health network has and the partnerships that we have in the community and with agencies and organizations. We've had LHA data, which is the local health authority data, and we did a community profile in 2014, but we had more questions. We needed more information. So we wanted to get a survey out to get those answers. We wanted to get more local health data, and we wanted to inform our agencies and local communities about initiatives and programs and planning and policy development to allow them to make those plans with the data that we had. So we set out to do this survey. And we asked local governments and our community agencies and organizations what they wanted to know. So we got 175 responses of just questions. And so we took a lot of time and pared that down. And with those contributions, we came up with a survey. And Cindy and Kara are going to talk about that. And the final part of this project was creating a website, which we're going to talk to you about now. So I'll pass it on to Cindy.
So my piece here is simple. This survey was designed by our community for our community. And it is questions that you cannot get if you went to go to Stats Canada or the LHA data. So this is a bit of a unique survey. And it is, as Denise said, designed for you in your decision-making, your policy development, and questions or answers to things that Kara's going to talk about, like how do we respond in a heat dome? Do we know if people have air conditioning, and more and more. And so Kara's going to pop in and let you know. And all of this information is on the Our Cowichan Communities Health Network website. And over to you, Kara. She's the Island Health part of our team that got to do this project.
Yes, thanks, Cindy and Denise. So hello everyone, my name is Kara McLean. I'm an epidemiologist with Island Health, so I've worked on the data aspect of this. There still is some feedback that it's just possible to move on your end. If not, I can get through it.
It's a systemic issue. You will hear feedback throughout, and all our microphones will be muted.
Here. So welcome to the webpage. So this webpage is ourhealthcommunity.com. This is the introduction page. So you can see here a lovely animated graph. So the bar here is received 3,759 which is really great turnout. Like Denise was saying, there's a total of 95 questions. We've engaged over 60 local organizations, and there's a survey. So I'm going to briefly go through some of the functionality of the webpage and then get into the results. So we can see on the top banner here, we have the introduction page, there's a survey process page, there's a results page, and a summary page. And if you're just interested in downloading results, you can click on this highlighted button, and it will bring you to a full list of Excel results in Geiger format. So let's take you to the web page. I'm probably going to quickly go through the functionality, but I'll show you some cool things on the web page. Again, if you want to jump data, click this button, it'll take you to the page. There's also nine that we've taken into consideration with the website. So if you want to jump into general health, you could click on this button, it'll help you right to those results, or any other button here too. Here's a bit of a story of how we got here. Launched on July 5th. Closed in October. Yeah, kind of just fun things here with the again, dive into the data with this point here. Let's move down. And like Cindy and Denise said, it's a collaboration between health and our community health network. We'll move on to the process page. So here is survey process. I think Denise covered most of the purpose of the health survey. We've got some goals here, which we'll into, but please feel free to have a look. Denise also went about question development. This is really highlighting the local community organization, how they really shaped the health survey. This is how we engaged with participants. Here's a little bit of nitty-gritty of the technical aspects of the data. We need to explore the rating process, or how we calculated the indicators, as well as people behind the data. So we really tried to reach all ages, genders, cultures, income levels, people with lived experiences. These health profiles that you can click on and highlight community partners here. It's not comprehensive, but highlighted a few, and we will dive into the results here. So here you can either scroll through all of the results, or if you wanted to click on a specific area, you can also do that way as well. We'll go through the results, not all of them, but I think we're a bit on time. So this first landing page is the demographic information, so I won't go over that. That is people kind of who participated in the general demographics. We will look at general health. So this is looking at people's overall health. We'll focus on Cowichan Valley West. So we have Cowichan Valley Regional District double data on the left-hand side. So that is overall results, like the average of the LHA, which is Cali North, Cowichan Valley South, and Cowichan Valley West. So we can see here 25% of Cowichan Valley residents rated their overall health, their poor, which is slightly less than Cowichan Valley South. We see 32% rated their overall health excellent and very good, which is a bit lower than the other LHAs. I'm not going to go through here, but I will highlight you. Here we're looking at access to care. So this was a question asking if people had regular healthcare providers in Canada. So we see almost 84% of Cowichan Valley residents had a healthcare provider. But we do see majority of people have a healthcare provider. There are healthcare access. So there are challenges. We asked people if there are challenges with healthcare they need, and 31% said healthcare was hard to access. And of people who had hard getting healthcare they needed, almost 70% said that this gap in healthcare worsens their health. So there are issues for healthcare, even though you may have access to it. I'm here with the mental health section of survey. So we can see here in purple and Cowichan Valley West residents, about 26% rated mental health as their poor, and about 40% rated mental health as very good. So we do see about 1 in 4 who may be struggling with mental health. You will move down. Quite quickly going through these. This is the loneliness question. It's asking how lonely people are, or if they feel isolated or down. So we see about 12% of Cowichan Valley residents saying that they are lonely almost of the time, and that's pretty consistent across all LHAs. And we see percent are low at the time, but they feel lonely. Down. So we move to the housing section. So we see on the right side that 67.4% of Cowichan Valley residents have lived in Green for more than 10 years. About 25% have lived there for more than 10, and about 7% have lived there less than 3 years. We do see about 8% who are living alone, and this is more common among older age groups, but it's less than Cowichan North and Cowichan South lately. Maybe move on from there. And then this question here, so in the housing section, is asking around affordable housing. So we deem housing affordable when you're spending more than 30% of income on housing. So we see here about 35% of homeowners are spending more than 30% of their income on housing. And we had a price value here, renters spend more than 50% of their income on housing. So a good portion of people may have affordable housing. So here the question is asking if residents have ever faced periods of housing instability or have ever been sheltered. We see about almost 18% have ever experienced being unsheltered. And that's a little bit better than the local average of Cowichan district. We move into substance use here. So for smoking, we see about 13.1% smoke daily or occasionally. We see about 55% don't pass. I believe there's some shift to people who quit smoking. And we can put this in across all the LHH as well, although we're for daily smoking compared to Valley Region District. We hear that e-cigarette use and marijuana issues. So the value is for Cowichan Valley Pass for e-cigarettes, but we see about 30% have reported using marijuana in the last 12 months. Here, so this is scheme beyond alcohol and cannabis. If residents have used substances in the past 12 months. So we see about 13% have used substances in the past year. So this is defined as cocaine, ecstasy, methamphetamine, hallucinogens, opioids, or pills, prescription drugs is prescribed. I think lastly, and on community belonging here. So Valley, West area, 66% reported area or somewhere on community belonging, and that was high as well the LHJs, and we see about 34% rating that belonging is very or unique. And I think that's where we'll end. I encourage you to visit the website and explore the results yourself. And I'll just show you there's a contact page here. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know any questions or concerns. And I think that's everything. There's lots of big figures here, so please.
I see some of my fellow councillors are following along on the website, so unfortunately we're having some technical difficulties on our end. It was a little difficult to hear you sometime, but we did get the gist of the website, and by following along, we noticed a majority of the questions and presentations that you were contributing to. If I have to have questions, maybe I'll go through the two representatives who are here. And they can relay if that's appropriate. Do I have any questions or comments? I want to thank you for doing this work, for all the efforts of all the members that bring this forward. I think it's important information that we can share with other groups within the Cowichan Valley Regional District to better the health of all community members.
Thank you. And when you're on the website, you can see clearly the distinction between Cowichan Valley West, North, South. And so do take a good look. Take a look at your housing, how people are heating their homes. There's so much more on the website that we can't cover in 10 minutes. And Kara's, scrolling through. But with that, if you do have any questions, my contact's on there, the Health Network contact is on there, and you can also go into the backside and get the data from all of the things that we haven't put into the website because there were more questions than we were able to put on there. So do dive in and have a look at what your community is telling you.
Great. Thank you very much. I don't see any further comments or questions, so thank you all for your presentation tonight. Much appreciated. So we'll move on to correspondence. What do you have now? Yeah. Lots of them. Well, is there any that you would like to pull? Most of them are just for information. I'd like to pull E for some discussion, and perhaps G. Anyone else? I. Okay. So if we can move those other pieces as a block, A, B, C, D, F, and H, moved by Councillor Frisbee, seconded by Councillor Sandu. So on item E, LGLA Leadership Forum, that's March 11th to 13th in Richmond, which is over.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
So we will not worry about that one.
It's like God told you.
Someone's talking to me. Let's go to G. This one hasn't happened yet. That's the AVICC AGM and Convention. If you haven't done so already, if you could please reach out to the administrative assistant and book your appropriate topics. Anyone else on that? Are we all attending? Okay. Hopefully we can all make it. And under I, who wanted that pulled? Councillor Sandu? Or Councillor Austin, one of you?
Both of us, yes.
Okay, would you like to speak to it?
Regarding the gift basket to the AVICC, I guess that's something we'll have to discuss of what we could put in that, and that will maybe do that after a meeting.
Okay, you want to contribute to the gift basket at AVICC?
Yeah, I think we have to do one. They've asked each community to do one, so.
Okay, could you make that a motion, please?
I'll make that a motion.
Thank you very much. Can you second that motion? Moved and seconded that we direct staff to come forward with a basket?
Sure, something like that. We can have some input as well, maybe.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We'll work with staff.
Work with staff. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to committee and council reports. Councillor Frisbee, do you have anything on committee of the whole?
No, it didn't happen at the last committee of the whole, so we'll have one next month.
Thank you very much. Councillor Sandu or Councillor Frisbee on Cowichan Lake Recreation.
Yeah, that was me. So we had a meeting yesterday. We were presented the Regional Recreation Facility Needs Assessment Report, which the CVRD only received a couple of weeks ago. So it's 217 pages, so they're still kind of just going through that report to see what we can pull out of it. One of the biggest eye-openers to me was just the population projections for Lake Cowichan. So 2025 we're at 3,886, and by 2045 we're at 5,687. So we're gaining almost 2,000 people there in the next 20 years, which would result in us going from the 8th biggest region in the CVRD to the 5th biggest region. So that was quite an eye-opener for me. We also reduced the fees of the Connect Club of Lake Cowichan by 40%. So that was guided by policy, and we officially cancelled Play and Learn program that had dwindling attendance. It was only being attended by 1 or 2 kids every day. So that program will finish at the end of the term and will be replaced by an extension of the gym facility. So we'll be making the gym area bigger. And the next meeting for the Rec Commission will either be on May 11th or May 25th in Yubo.
Thank you for that. And an interesting item in that report was a 71% increase for Lake Cowichan in population growth on those numbers, which is unbelievable. And I believe Ladysmith was the second highest in the percentage of population demographic growth. Thank you for that. Any questions? Moving on, Councillor Bomaka, anything from the Regional Library?
On May the 1st, there will be a Zoom meeting for the rural auditors to present their 2025 audit strategy results.
Thank you. Look forward to that. Councillor Sandu, Advisor Planning Commission.
I believe we have a meeting this Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Thank you. I have nothing on the Community Forest Co-op. And I will have to turn to you, Councillor Sandu, for the Cowichan Valley Regional District, if you have anything. Nothing? I will report that today was a signing ceremony between the Cowichan Valley Regional District and the Subasset First Nation for a protocol agreement. That's renewed from 2016. The new agreement was endorsed by the chair and the 2 electoral area directors, and also by chief and council within the Subasset First Nation. Councillor Austin, community outreach, anything?
I'll just do the highlights of our meeting from March 9th with community services. Strong Start is going very well. I think they said they had up to 30 people in attendance at some of the classes. And there's a Work BC job fair April 22nd at the Curling Lounge. I did let one of our representatives from Island Health know about that one because they had asked, and we're also having one at the high school April 8th. The public library has lots of stuff going on, so everybody should check that out. They do help people if they need to register for HealthLink and things like that on the computers, people that don't have computers, if you know any folks that need help with that kind of thing. Community services helps as well, but the library is a good place as well. They have some great kids there that come for after school, and they're doing all sorts of different things other than just playing games on the computer. They help out, do lots of stuff. Carolyn Yablonsky, she's going to be retiring after she has her knee surgery. She reported that she spent 35 years at the CATSA Health Unit. There will be a spring COVID campaign for people, mostly focused on the vulnerable, the people over 65 or those with health issues. A sexual health clinic for the youth at LCS will be every second Wednesday. There will be a baby talk program. People might not be aware, we used to do Healthy Beginnings with parents and little babies and new people to the area, and they're starting something like that in Duncan, and they might bring it back to Lake Cowichan, so I'm hoping they do. The fire department's been coming to these as well, so Fire Smart will be attending Strong Start and Baby Talk and different ones like that to talk to the parents. They raised $33,000 for Tumbler Ridge at their recent car wash, and an additional $1,000 is also being donated from the Lake Cowichan Fire Department. Island Ignite is coming up for the weekend firefighting program for females aged 14 to 17 to get women into wanting to get into fire departments or firefighting. And March 24th, they'll be doing a dangerous tree removal again at Paulson. And on May 16th, there's a Fire Smart community event at Central Park. Everybody's welcome. There'll be food and lots of different other things and lots of groups there talking about things like that. So we can prepare for the summer. As you know, we live in a fire zone. Danny from Cowichan Lake Rec said they're really having difficulty getting lifeguards. If you know anybody that's a lifeguard, we really want to have the program again at Arbutus Park. Carpet bowling, they're having tournaments all over the place there. The next one is April 14th and then May 1st to 4th. And outreach, these are the nurses that come from Duncan in a van, and they drive around and help those that are needing help within the community. They said Shigella and novovirus is still prevalent in Duncan, norovirus I should say, and they recently lost 6 people in 10 days due to the toxic drug abuse. And I reported that we have a budget for renovations at the CATSA Health Unit. We're going to be putting in some more offices, I believe, and doing some work there. I'm hoping we can have a meeting with the Minister of Housing when we go to AVICC to talk about their cut in their recent budget, because we were put on the naughty list for saying we don't build affordable housing. So there's no funding now for our elder care society that we're trying to build a senior housing unit. And the town is working on the budget and sewer upgrades. And so really good meeting to see what goes on in our community with all that.
Thank you for that. Any questions or comments to that report? No, I'll stay with you for our Cowichan, if you have anything.
Well, I really don't have to say anything.
No,
They
you
did-
don't, the presentation
They
probably
did it all,
spoke for
but
itself.
on March 12th, they had the health and healthcare as an economic driver for Cowichan, and I was unable to go, but I sent Pat Weaver along as a chamber member to go with Sheila Service to find out what's going on with that. So she will report on that at some point. Thank you.
Councillor Sandu, anything Cowichan Watershed Board?
Our next meeting is March 30th.
March 30th. Councillor Frisbee or Councillor Austin or both on Otaki Twinning. Who shall I go to first? You have nothing? Councillor Austin.
Otaki Twinning, they have 10 students, this is for 2027, 10 students and 8 adults. It's going along well. I think they've got a bottle drive on the 9th. They'll be at the Easter market this Saturday selling baking. And we noticed that the 26th, when they come, it's the week of Thanksgiving. So we are trying to work out days with people of what we think people should be doing during those days. They're only really here for 3 full days and 2 kind of partial. So everything's kind of ticking along.
Thank you very much. Now we will get into other reports. We'll look at administration first. Emergency Management Cowichan. This is a resolution of support for a grant application. I'll turn to staff for some input.
That's correct. As council may know, the town of Lake Cowichan is part of the Emergency Management Cowichan body. They are planning to apply for a grant for 2026, and they require all member municipalities to provide a resolution of support for their application. For 2026, they're planning on doing multiple things. It's on, it's listed as page 82 of the actual report, not the package, but a few pages in here. So they're looking to purchase cell phone charging station, volunteer and responder recruitment event, a NEST conference and sending a delegation of 2, mental health kits for responders at various regional locations, social support supplies at 6 locations, disposable plates, cups, and other ancillary requirements for likely the EOC or recovery centers, ESS trailer ceiling upgrades, 2 mobile units, food, water for ESS reception centers, group lodging supplies, and a small contingency totaling $150,000. That's the application. They're seeking a letter of support. As part of that process, no more than 1 community cannot submit a grant application to UBCM as part of 2 bodies. We had initially submitted an application for the EOC generator for $30,000. UBCM responded that we needed to choose one, either the town's independent application or part of the EMC, Emergency Management Cowichan. We have withdrawn our application for the EOC generator and relied on this application instead.
Thank you for that clarification. There is a recommended resolution there, but I'll turn to council first. Anything on that? So the resolution would read that council supports the Cowichan Valley Regional District to apply for, receive, and manage the UBCM Community Emergency Preparedness Fund Emergency Support Services 2026 grant funding up to $150,000 on behalf of the town of Lake Cowichan. Someone like to move that? Councillor Vomaka, seconded by Councillor Austin. Comments? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Off to development. We have a building permit summary, just for information. Nothing to contribute there, I don't think. It's just for information. Also, February 2026 building permit summary. Again, just for information. We have a fire department incident report, January 2026. And in there, get my electronics working. There is a recommendation that the Committee of the Whole recommends to Council that staff report be received in the amount of $8,558.54 be approved and presented. That should read that Council approves. Moved by Councillor Sandu, seconded by Councillor Frisbee. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. There's also a fire incident report for February. That's with an R, February. Moved by Councillor Sandu that the council recommend, let's try that again. That council approve payment of $5,813.38 for February 2026. Moved by Councillor Sandu and seconded by Councillor Austin. All in favor? Opposed? That motion carries. Next with the fire department is 2026 CRI Fire Smart Community Fund and Supports. Is this yours? Yes. If you can push the microphone.
Yeah, the purpose of the report is to provide council with a summary of the Fire Smart initiatives for eligible funding for 2026 on a 2-year term to seek council's support through resolution to apply for the 2026 grant.
And you're just here for questions or clarification?
I got a background on it. I mean, it's 4 pages. It's just, if you got any questions on it?
Awesome. Turn to my fellow councillors. Nothing on this? There is a recommendation moved by Councillor Frisbee, seconded by Councillor Sandu. The council recommend that staff report be accepted and that council recommend making application under the Union of BC Municipalities to continue wildfire resiliency within the town of Lake Cowichan fire protection area. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Now, under planning, there's a CVRD referral to bylaw 4705, which is the official community plan and Schedule B of local area plans. Did you wish to speak to this, Ms. Reynolds?
No, I don't have any comments on it at this time.
So looking at council, is there anything that you would like to do with this? I don't think it affects the town of Lake Cowichan municipally. They are just looking for any input from us, whether there are concerns within that. I personally have none. I'm not even represented within the discussions at the regional district, not being electoral area director, but it is interesting and entertaining to watch. If you need to have a look, I would highly encourage it. It's quite a document. Moving forward, it will guide growth within the electoral areas for many years to come. So I would suggest that the town has no interest or no purpose to respond, and we will receive and file as according. With that, I believe Councillor Frisbee has declared a conflict on the next item, which is under operations. Would you like to tell us again what it is?
Yeah, so with the parking plan, if it is implemented for 2026, a lease that I have in place with the town would cease. So I have a financial gain.
If you could go to the soundproof booth, please. The minutes show that Councillor Frisbee has removed himself due to a conflict at 6:15 p.m. And I'll turn to Mr. Sandu to introduce this.
Thank you. So this is the Uptown Parking Program. We've been working on this for several years, and then we were asked to do a parking study, which was done in 23, 24. And most of the information I've got in here is from that study. And we went further. Staff had gathered information throughout the several summers, the busy season, how many cars are in the, what we call uptown, which is Saywell Park area, that end of town. And it gets quite busy there. We have several hundred cars a day. So if you read through this, I've given a few different scenarios, if it was a very busy day or if it was a slow day. So there's different options. We can just different breakdowns I've given you. So at this point, what I'm looking for is if we can get the approval to purchase 2 parking meters. It takes 8 to 9 weeks, maybe 10 weeks to get it. So if we're gonna move forward with this program, I need to order the equipment now so we can have it for the summertime and have it installed.
Okay, I will open it up for, oh, do you have something else, sorry?
Nope, I was just gonna say, if you have questions, it'd be great. I can answer whatever I can.
Open it up to council. I see Councillor Bomaka pushing her button.
Can I ask where the 2 parking machines are going to be located?
One will be in the Saywell Park area and one will be further up Point Ideal near the gravel parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? So I would like to see the purchase of that. We've been talking this for quite some time. I think there is room for sending back to staff an enforcement plan to come back to council for consideration. Without enforcement, I don't see how this will be positive. And also, I'd like to see in that perhaps an option for longer than 2-hour parking within Saywell, whether it be similar to the Centennial parking lot rate, just so there's an option. That's the only solid infrastructure that we have for parking within the uptown area. I'd like to see an option for 2-hour and longer if possible. It takes sometimes longer than 2 hours to get your food at Jake's, for instance, at a busy time. So just want to have that option. We don't want to limit people to 2 hours within the uptown core so they can visit all the businesses within that core. So I'm looking for someone to at least move forward a resolution to purchase the equipment so we can have it on site if that is our plan. So it's moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Austin. And a comment?
Just so our residents are aware that they're not going to be charged. So we haven't figured out that process yet, but our local residents will not be paying for paid parking over the summer, over those months.
Is that a question or a comment?
Just a statement.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bomaka.
On the part where it says Lakeview Avenue, which is the empty town lot, long-term parking with a permit only, local business use, fee to be determined, recommendation $10 per week. So just a little more clarification is, I believe that empty town lot is owned by the provincial government, is it not?
It's granted to the town of Lake Elk.
Granted to the town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you're saying local business use recommended $10 a week, is that for one spot or every employee that works at all those businesses?
Well, we can discuss that, but what my recommendation is, per business, you get a spot and you pay the $10 or whatever fee you guys choose to set. That's up to you guys. It can be free. It's just, we're gonna have to spend a bit of money to clean it up, and I'd like to just recover some of those fees, and it gives the businesses, the employees, a place to park all day long without worrying about having to move their car.
Perfect, thank you. So that's discussion.
Yes, that'll come forward. Anyone else? So it's moved to purchase the 2 pieces of infrastructure and send back to staff the need for an enforcement plan update and the possibility of increasing hourly parking within Saywell. Councillor Bomaka.
Just an observation, at the library board in the convention center, they have the options of 2-hour, 4-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour parking, and you can just select which one that you like. And of course, you pay more the longer you're going to stay. So if those parking meters have the availability to do that, because you can't get ready and tube in 2 hours.
Yeah, so the machines will have that. And the Saywell parking, if you, in the parking study, the reason it was set at 2 hours is it's to actually avoid, so the people that are going Cuban, it's a longer term that they go park in the gravel parking lot or Point Ideal. And the Saywell is then the people that are coming to enjoy the park or go to the businesses, they have that parking lot available to them.
Great. Look forward to that coming back. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. We'll pause and allow Councillor Frisbee to come back. Thank you. Councillor Frisbee has returned, so we'll commence with the meeting. We have staff report, a temporary use permit application. That's TUP 2026-02, and this is for 88 Cowichan Lake Road. Ms. Reynolds.
Thank you. So yes, we have a temporary use permit. As if council will recall, we received a referral from the BC Liquor and Cannabis branch to start the process, asking would town accept the application so that the applicant could then submit it through the LCRB, and council did pass a motion supporting or accepting that application back in January 27th. So subsequently, the applicant has submitted their application to the LCRB, and just to note, we did have, I don't know if she's still on, she was attending virtually, one of the members of the ownership group was on the call or on Zoom. If there's any questions to her. So the applicant, excuse me, the application was submitted. We're looking at a property, it's a C1 property, which I note correctly on page 1, but got it wrong on page 2. And the zoning bylaw does allow for council to consider issuing a temporary use permit and requires this in the case of a cannabis retail store. Again, with as far as the zoning bylaw, the 4 parking stalls are required, and the building does have those stalls available. The application was reviewed against council's policy on the matter, and a copy of council's policy is attached to the staff report. But generally, you know, some of the requirements or recommendations are that the storefront be located more than 100 meters from a group daycare and elementary schools, which is the case in this instance. However, the location is within, the store is within 100 meters of the school property, but not Paulson Elementary School building itself. And there is one other cannabis retail store in town, and it's located more than 300 meters from the proposed location. The policy recommends a maximum of 2 stores. And again, this is the only cannabis retail store on the lot. And as far as the proposed sign, that would be consistent with the sign bylaw, but as yet they've not submitted that. Referral notices were sent to the RCMP, School District 79, CVRD, and Subasset Nation for the adjacent local government. And we did receive replies from those, with the exception of Subasset. The only referral response that we received that did not support the application was from the school district, and they said that they opposed the application and they'd filed an objection to any site-specific zoning within 300 meters of schools, and note that the proposed store is located within 300 meters. The only public comment we received from Stacy Blanchette, which she spoke earlier, and I think you received her letter of support for the application. If council were to approve it, the temporary use permit would be valid for a 3-year period, and then if they so choose, they could make another application for to renew that permit once. The application was noticed on the town's website. The applicants posted a notice on the subject property, notice to neighbors within 50 meters, and as mentioned, the referrals were sent to those agencies. The proposal is generally consistent with council's policy and also the zoning bylaw, and therefore staff, or as a contract planner, recommends approval of TUP 2026-02. Sorry, whoa.
No problem. Does that conclude?
Yes.
I will turn to council. Any questions or comments? So there is a recommendation, and that is that the contract planner recommends approval. And moved by Councillor Sandu, seconded by Councillor Frisbee. Now, Councillor Vomaka?
No, I was just going to make a comment that I'm happy that the RCMP is roading off on it, and as far as the Paulson School goes, it's within that meter distance, but it's not the high school. I'd have more concern, but being it's children from the age of 5 until to 7 or 8, I think we're pretty okay. They're not going to go there. So with that, I would be in favor.
Any further comments? I think when we made the policy, there was a similar concern brought forward on the initial placement of the original cannabis store. The school district is stringent on a 300-meter policy within their input. We did consider that at the time, felt that 100 meters was sufficient within our community. If it fits within the commercial zoning, it fits within our policy, I'm all for competition. There is sufficient parking, and if I may, just through to you, would the parking be at the back of the building?
Yes, parking is located at the back. And I just, if I may, want to add a comment just based on conversation with the CAO. To clarify, a temporary use permit is valid for a 3-year period. They can apply to renew a second time. They can make a new application for a temporary use permit after that. So I think it's been sort of understood in the past that you were only limited to a maximum of sort of 2 times 3. But that's not the case. An applicant could come forward and make a new application. But also, there's also the opportunity to apply to rezone the property.
For that allowable use within that specific zone.
That's right.
Thank you for clarifying that. So it could morph from a TUP to an allowable use by application of the proprietor.
That's right.
Thank you for that. Any questions to the applicant who's online? Anyone? I don't think we have anything Ms. Pratt, but I'm going to call the question. You can stay for that and see what the outcome is. All those in favor of the recommendation? Opposed, if any? I'm sorry. It was moved by Councillor Sandu and seconded by Councillor Frisbee. That's a good memory, eh? So I have called the question, and all in favor, it was unanimous. So that motion carries. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Pratt, remotely.
Thank you kindly.
And we'll move on. We'll stay with planning. This is the DP application, DP 2026-05 with a variance, and this is for 460 Winter Drive. Ms. Reynolds again.
Sure. So thank you. So yes, an application for a development permit with a variance. So they're requesting to reduce the front yard setback from 7.5 meters to 5.5 meters. And that's related to the development, the watercourse and streamside protection development permit area that's in the rear of the property. So they've submitted supporting reports for the riparian area protection regulation, and also a condition and impact assessment, sort of a subsequent riparian assessment report. And that second report was required by the province. So notice was sent to neighbors within 50 meters, and we received no comments. The proposal is generally consistent with the development permit guidelines. And so we've got a staff recommendation to approve development permit with variance for 2026-05 for the property at 460 Winter, and with the conditions as laid out in the staff report.
And seeing as those conditions have been published, I'm not going to read them out because they're considerably lengthy. Would anyone wish to move this recommendation? Moved by Councillor Frisbee, seconded by Councillor Austin. Any input on the recommendation? Ready for the question? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries as well. Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Moving on, there are no bylaws, no new business. I do not have a mayor's report this evening. I didn't have any notices of motion prior. Is there anything that has come up during the meeting? Seeing none, we'll move to question period. You have 3 minutes for your questions. If you would come to the podium, state your name, and questions must be limited to business on the agenda. Must be a question, not a statement. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your attendance this evening. Appreciate you joining us and seeing how we do things around here. With that, I will turn to our CAO for the reason of going in camera. I will read it. So before a meeting is called or part of a meeting is closed to the public, the council must state by resolution that a meeting is to be closed, and B, the basis on which the meeting is to be closed falls under the following section of the community charter. Section 91C, which is labor relations. Section 91I, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. 91G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. 92A, a part of a council meeting must be closed to the public if subject being considered relates to one or more of the following. B, the consideration of information received and held in confidence related to negotiations between the municipality and First Nations as prescribed Indigenous entity, or between a First Nation or a prescribed Indigenous entity, is what it was supposed to be, and a third party. I'll move that we go in camera. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Vomaka. All in favor? Opposed? Take a short recess, allow people to vacate, Thank you very much, staff. Appreciate it.